Power Ranger Beast Morphers. This was the beginning of the Hasbro era, but also the first time Power Rangers had gone back and adapted a season they skipped over, something that was unheard of at the time. And now we're going to talk about monsters that were never adapted from its Super Sentai counterpart, Go-Busters. Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of Never Before Seen Power Ranger Monsters. If you don't know what this video series is about, or you're new to the channel, well, I talk about monsters that were never adapted from Super Sentai into Power Rangers, but I don't only cover the monsters. I've covered Zords, villains, all sorts of things that were never adapted into Power Rangers from Super Sentai, so I highly recommend checking out the playlist, as there's a lot that I go over in those videos. So without any further ado, let's talk about monsters that were never adapted into Power Rangers. Now, the villains in Beast Morphers were known as Robotrons, robots that were formed by putting a virus key into objects, and there was 8 of them that were never adapted into Beast Morphers. Now, in Go-Busters, when the monsters grow and they get bigger, it's called their Zord form, so I won't be including both forms on the list. I'll mostly be focusing on their monster form, but if you want to have a look at the full list of what wasn't adapted when it comes to Zord forms, you can check it out on Ranger Wiki or Green Ranger without the vowels. Okay, so first up is Steamloid. This is a Robotron that had a bunch of pipes coming out of their head and only appeared in the movies. Now, if you're new here and you don't know some of the stuff about the movies and why they never get adapted, it's because when either Saban, Disney, or Hasbro buys the license for the footage, the movies will cost them extra. So that's why some of the movies or the movie monsters never get adapted into seasons of Power Rangers. Next up, we've got Jisha Kuloid, a magnet monster. So apparently this monster was never adapted because it had too much unmorphed footage around the monster. Now, in Beast Morphers we did see a lot of original footage, but the suits from Go-Busters had to be recreated for the original footage for Beast Morphers because the suits had fallen apart due to age. And Toku suits don't last long after a while. They either fall apart or they get kit bashed or repainted into something else. But in the Sentai episode, this was a gold and yellow focused episode, and I feel like this episode was a missed opportunity to have a Nate and Zoe focused episode where we could see the relationship strengthen and even deepen. So it sucks that they never adapted this monster or the suit or the episode around it, because we could have had a good Nate and Zoe focused episode. Okay, this is a weird one. So it's an Eraser monster, but it's also CGI. So this is Keshi Gomalud, and seeing how it's a CGI monster, I can understand why this was never adapted. So in Beast Morphers, we saw a lot of monsters get upgrades or come back stronger than they were before. One of those monsters we never got to see get his power-up form or his upgrade was Meltatron. But in the Sentai, they did get an upgrade, and it was called Sprayloid 2. So it's a shame we never got to see the upgraded version of Meltatron. I think that would have been really cool, because that was one of the earlier monsters that they did fight in Power Ranger Beast Morphers, and it's a shame it never got an upgrade form. Next up is Junkloid. Now, Junkloid only appeared in the Hyper Battle DVD, so there wasn't a lot of footage to use with him. Now, you're probably wondering, Ash, what's a Hyper Battle DVD? Well, the Hyper Battle DVD is something that's included in the TV magazine, a magazine that targets young audience that Sentai and Rider is aimed for. Usually with these magazines, there'll be something that comes with the gimmick of that season, whether it be the latest Sentai at the time or the latest Rider at the time. They've usually got some little prize in there, and sometimes they'll come with a DVD. And in this case, one of them for that month came with the Hyper Battle DVD that had this short on there. Next up is Karate-Loid, a monster that was never adapted because it spent too much time around humans and morphed rangers, so it makes sense why they would have skipped this monster if they couldn't find a way to work around the footage, or Toei no longer had the suit to send it to them, so they probably couldn't adapt the footage or the monster anyways. Okay, I know I said I wouldn't be covering the Megazord forms in this video, but this one is too weird, too wacky, too crazy to pass up on, and that is Megazord Lloyd. And the whole reason why this monster was skipped is because they can turn into a giant CGI train. Yeah, that's why. But because the train had people in there, they couldn't work around the footage, so that's why the monster was never adapted. And it's kind of a shame because this guy has a really cool form in his Zord form, and it's a shame they never adapted it because I do dig the design. Okay, last on the list is Omochi Lloyd. This monster is a mochi-based monster, so I can understand why they never adapted it, because it didn't really suit the themes of Beast Morphers with the stuff they were turning into like Robotron, so I can understand why they skipped this one, but it's also because it spent a lot of time around humans and the Rangers when they were unmorphed, so I can understand why they passed up on this monster. Alright, so that was never before seen Power Ranger Monsters Beast Morphers edition. I would call this the finale of the series, but we've got one more series to go later down the line, and it's going to be of cosmic fury proportions. So what are your thoughts on all these monsters that were never adapted in the Power Ranger Beast Morphers, and how would you adapt them? Tell me in the comment section down below. And with that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, take care, and thanks for watching. Bye!